Hey everybody, good afternoon. It is Monday, September 25th, 2023, and I just wanted to give an update with everything going on over the past week. I just wanted to update everybody on what's going down. So, first things first, last Wednesday, I had my scans. I had 2 scans. I had a PET scan, first time doing that, and I had a CT scan. So 2 scans. And anxiety. Look, when you're gonna have a scan, even if it's just a few weeks or a month, when you have something like this going on, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it. So scans on Monday. They actually went in, and the contrast dye didn't go in my body the first time, so it exploded in my arm, my left arm. So I felt a little pain, and suddenly my arm was blowed up the size of a football. I don't think that happens too much, but it happened to me. And then they put more contrast in, and we did the scan like normal. So there's that. The scans were ready like 2 hours later, or an hour later. It wasn't very long. And so the news on the scans, it took the doctor a little while to kind of get down to him. He usually just bursts in the door, gives his information, and then leaves. This time he kind of had to go clicking on the scans here. I need to look at your scans. So there was his version, and then there was a radiologist version. So I looked at them both. I got his interpretation and the radiologist's interpretation. So his interpretation and the radiologist here locally said that the disease looked stable. Stable in the liver. We're assuming that's stable in the pancreas. And the spine, stable per the report. That's what it said. So we'll take it. We'll always take stable over growing. So that's very good news. I would like to see some marked reduction in the tumors. We didn't see that, but we did see stable on the report. We didn't see that it had grown. And the official report said stable, 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 stable. So this was my first time seeing a PET scan. A PET scan, when there's like a tumor or cancer growth in your body, an area will light up as like yellow. It'll light up as yellow. And so he kind of went down. It's called eyes to thighs. So they scanned from here down to your thighs, and he kind of went each segment, and you could see the yellow areas, the ones we knew about: pancreas, liver, and the spine, which we'll talk about in a minute. It looks like the T12 and the L1 vertebrae. In fact, I think it was one of the brightest spots was the L1 vertebrae. So there's that. It's good. It's good news. I'm happy about it. It's been a hard couple weeks. I've had some wacky. If you read my last blog, I have had some wacky liver enzyme tests. Those were pretty temporary, which that, by the way, is the first time that I've had that happen. My bilirubin went up to 1.5. I think my urine may have turned dark like half a day. and then my bilirubin went back down. The other liver enzymes went back down. I've never had that happen before, just FYI. Every time that's been the case, where my bilirubin has been elevated, there's been an issue in my stent, in my stent inside a stent. I have two metal liver stents in my liver. I have a metal inside a metal mesh inside of a metal mesh. So I want to say that's the first time that's happened. Let me back up a second. That's the first time that's happened where two hospitals could verify the bilirubin who went up, where we knew it wasn't an error. Okay, so bilirubin excreted by the body typically shows up in urine, typically shows up in stools, typically shows up in the way I presented back in March. Okay, so why all this talk about bilirubin and liver? Why do I always talk about that? I mean, there's a reason I talk about the liver, because it's all about the liver. Liver in this disease, it's all about the liver. I mean, you really don't need like a pancreas or intestines they can take out like most of it. I don't think you need a stomach, but gosh, you probably need part of a liver, and you need your kidneys. You need these vital organs. You need these vital organs to function. You need a liver to function. You need the kidneys to function. I mean, that's crucial. I mean, maybe you'll have a tumor the spot of size of a golf ball on your spine. So what? It's in hard tissue. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's all a big deal. It's all a big deal. But if you can keep it out of your vital organs, you'll live longer. So why do I get worried about liver enzymes? Well, there's a reason for that. Liver enzymes tell the story. They tell what's going on. They tell how that organ is functioning. Kidney tests. So these tests I have every week, sometimes twice a week. It's called a comprehensive metabolic panel. Comprehensive metabolic panel, not a basic. There's a difference there. If you want the whole picture, a comprehensive is better. So they're testing the vital organs, they're testing the kidneys, they're testing the liver function, called LFTs, which they're going to show. An LFT, liver enzymes are going to be your bilirubin, your ALT, AST. It's going to be your alkaline phosphate. It's going to be your GGT. So there's certain things they're going to look for on every test. Kidney function is going to be a combination of electrolytes, and it's going to be like your glomerular, I'm not saying that right, but glomerular, GFR, glomerular filtration rate, GFR. I think it's supposed to be over like 60 in an average person. So so those are the things we're looking for in these blood tests, week in, week out. They are important, and again, it's generally all about the liver and also the kidneys. And we look for signs that those are functioning well or not functioning well. So about the spine, I mentioned that the spot on the spine was all lit up. It's there at the T12. I've seen the CT view of it, and I've seen the PET scan view of it, and they're going to start a radiation on it. Not this week, probably next week. And I met with a radiation oncologist today. I actually had chemo today. I had chemo today, but I met with a radiation oncologist. He says he thinks he can knock out the stuff in the spine in 2 treatments. They're going to do a special, like, focused SBRT or some kind of special focus radiation therapy on the spine, where it's like high beam, really intense, and I'm completely on board with that. He said side effects, tiredness, but typically minimal. Yeah, I had chemo today. I forewent it on, decided to forego chemo on Friday. And the reason I decided to do that is because my white blood cell counts, infection fighting abilities of my body were way down. So there's blood tests they use to look for that too. Those are your white blood cell count and your absolute neutrophil count, and they were down. Okay, but they have a trick for that too. They have a trick. It's called filgrastim. I think I'm saying that right. Filgrastim, and it is a way that they can stimulate your bone marrow to make those neutrophils, to make those white blood cell counts when you're neutropenic. Neutropenia is when you have that low neutrophil count, meaning that if you have chemo or taking chemo and you develop a fever, you have a neutropenic fever. That is a very bad thing because your body can't fight the infection. Okay, so you have no defense. I mean, if you're neutropenic, where's the defense? And so if you go to the ER, they have to like start you on antibiotics. Now, I have had fevers on this chemo. I've had them twice, and the last one was not this past weekend, but before, and went up to like 100.7. One of the chemo medications that I take, Abraxane, causes fever. The reason they didn't admit me is because I wasn't neutropenic, and I'm definitely not neutropenic today. I'm not neutropenic because I had these shots to stimulate the bone marrow. Now, those shots come with a big price. It was extremely painful. Like, your bones hurt, and I don't mean just bone aches like you're getting the flu bone aches. I mean, they hurt extremely bad. Like, every bone in my body, from my feet up to my head and forehead hurt. My sternum hurt, my ribs hurt, my fingers hurt, everything hurt. It hurt to breathe. That's how bad the bone pain was from these shots. Back-to-back shots, 24 hours apart I had them. So the first one not so severe, but then Saturday night it really hit, and I was laying in bed and I couldn't move. Like, no painkiller helps. You move even the slightest, you take a deep breath, the bone pain is really bad. On the flip side, white blood cell counts high, absolute neutrophil count high, all high today. I guess it was worth it, right? I mean, it in theory should help me from getting a neutropenic fever, so I went ahead and got the chemo today. And I'm tired this afternoon, but I haven't been able to rest, so I just thought I'd come out here and make a video. So, what's next? So, I know we looked at the scans from this local oncologist, and he went over the scans. But I want to, I have an oncologist up in St. Louis, at Siteman Cancer Center, Barnes Jewish Hospital. I want him and that team to go over the scans as well. I think they can use the scans from this Wednesday. I actually have already FedExed those up there, so I have an appointment up there. Tentatively, I don't know if I'll make it, so for like Tuesday, next Tuesday, in the afternoon in St. Louis. So we'll see. We'll see if I have to move that, but hopefully I can make it. It's better to have two oncologists have eyes on it than one, in my opinion. So that's what's next. So that that's pretty much a summary of what's going on. We got the radiation. We're going to get a second oncologist to look at the scan. Different read, continuing to monitor blood levels of those critical liver enzymes, and those kidney function tests, especially the liver. And as I explained earlier, hopefully can stay out of the hospital. Always our goal. I thought I was headed there, weekend before this one. I thought I was headed to admission. I had a pretty rough night. It was 2.5 days into chemo, which that's when it always hits. That's when the symptoms and usually the fever always hit. So 2.5 days into the chemo, my heart started beating real fast, and I spiked a fever. It didn't get much higher than 100.7. It's probably the highest it got. But scary. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to end up in the hospital. So this treatment, this chemo treatment today marks 2.5 cycles of Gemzar Abraxane, which was first in line, but now is second in line treatment of metastatic pancreatic cancer. I think first in line chemotherapy, we'll talk chemotherapy for just a second. First in line chemotherapy is what's called FOLFIRINOX. It's the same chemo that put me into heart failure back in the summer, caused my heart to fail for about a week and a half, miraculously, thank God. I believe I was healed in that situation. I really do. I believe I was healed when my heart failed over the summer. And the reason I believe that is because my heart function went from an ejection fraction of 25% to 65 in about 10 days. So any damage that had been caused from the chemo, I immediately bounced back and recovered from. Thank God. Could have taken months. So miracles happen. I believe in miracles, and that was one of them. In fact, every day that I live is another miracle in this situation. So that's an update for now. I think I've covered everything here. I love to say that the process gets easier of dealing with this. I'd love to say that a diagnosis like this gets easier, but I can't say it does. It doesn't get easier. I can only tell you what I've experienced, and I can tell you what gives me hope and what gives me faith. And I will tell you that for anyone facing this, turn to your faith, because that's what's going to get you through in the darkest moments. Turn to God. That's what's going to get you through in the absolute dark. Okay, when you are crying, when you are feeling the most hopeless and the most down, and you feel the worst, and you're feeling the most desperate, turn to that. I love you guys. Hope this provided some useful info. We'll talk to you later. Bye.